Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome here as we prepare for our 7th race of the first season of the NNSCRA Duracell Cup Series. And we are getting set here today for our first dirt track stop of the season as we are here at the Springfield Mile, getting ready for the running of the Harley-Davidson 400. 50 laps of racing here around this racetrack, and we're going to be seeing them slipping and sliding, and it's sure to be a wild one here today. Usually these dirt track races come down to fuel strategy as well, whether it be a green flag pit stop when you make that pit stop, if you're able to gain track position as a result, or usually as well under caution. The reason being, this is one of the more difficult pit roads that we are going to see all year long. The pit stalls are dirt. They are not asphalt, they are not concrete, there is really no grip. It is so much difficult to bring a car to a stop on dirt than it is on a cement or asphalt area where it's got a little bit more grip to be able to, grab onto the tires and help for braking. So here today, drivers are going to be slipping and sliding not only on the track, but also potentially in their pit stalls, and there's no safer barrier separating the infield from pit road. It is a steel guardrail, so if you slide enough and you hit that steel guardrail, you're going to get some pretty good left side damage, and you might have an extended stay on pit road, and as a consequence for a number of our leaders, when the pit stops take place, they could be throwing away the potentiality of a good finish. Look at our front row here today. How about a couple of drivers that really need a win? They need to get their season turned around. Benjamin Miles on the pole, second place, Carson Gum. Now, Miles had a decent finish last week at Bristol. He moved up 8 spots in standings, but only to 26th. Carson Gum, he comes into this race 36th in points. That team's still looking for their first top 10 on the year. Let's go down trackside, get those most famous words in motorsports here at Springfield.
Drivers, start your engines.
So as the command is given, let's give you your point standings coming into this race. Jordan Lopez, your current points leader, 12 points over Jesse Turner. Zach Rogers currently third in the points. Charles Sandfer in fourth. And Benny Watson, who will roll off from third place, he is fifth in the standings coming into this race. William Brock is sixth. Jessica Shelton seventh. Last week's winner, K Mathews in eighth. Ninth, Diego Yepez. And Matthew Rodriguez completes the top 10. 62 points to separate first through 10th in the standings. Of our 6 previous race winners, 5 of them are still in the top 30 in points, so their wins would count towards playoff spots, those being Lopez, Turner, Shelton, Mathews, and Friesen. J Millz comes into this race 33rd in the point standings. He still needs to get himself into the top 30 in points for his win to count towards a playoff spot. He is 7 points back from 30th in the standings, that cutoff line coming into today's race. Right now, we would sit at 11 drivers able to get into the playoffs via points, but obviously it's still a long ways to go in the season, and we've had 6 different winners in the first 6 races on the season. Retro Racing Enterprises back-to-back wins, Shelton at Phoenix and Mathews last week at Bristol. Could Sandfer maybe complete the sweep here today? We've never had something like that happen before. All those questions will be answered when we complete the 50 laps as we're ready to sling some dirt at Springfield. Green flags in the air, let's roll! Benny Watson was ready for that green flag to drop. He's already 3 wide for the lead going into turn 1. And he'll clear for the spot out of turn 2. So far this season, 1 top 5, 3 top 10s in the first 6 races for Benny Watson, 5th in the point standings. It looks like he will lead lap 1, but here comes Cole Baker in the 18. And I might be incorrectly remembering this, but it seems to me like Cole Baker has a Hershey's Cup Series win at Springfield. I might be wrong about that. Or at least it's some dirt track. Maybe it was DeCoing. Can't off the top of my head remember what it was. But I thought he had a dirt track win. Toyota's 1-2. So far this season, it's been Fords and Chevys that have gone to victory lane. Toyota and Dodge still looking for their first win of the season. Right now, they got 2 candidates up here at the front of the field. Then you got a Ford and a Chevy battling for third. Wyatt Quail and Julius Anderson. Diego Yepez right there as well. So a couple of unknown motorsports teammates there. The 4 and the 0 running inside the top 5. Tell you who made an early exit, that's Benjamin Miles, the pole sitter. He's now fallen back here into this battle for, I believe this is 7th. between himself, V Almariego, LaPlante, and others. And the caution is out. First time today. Surprised it didn't come out earlier, to be honest. Lap 3 is when our first yellow flag waves here today at Springfield. So I'm pretty impressed these drivers were able to make it. Nearly 3 laps without us having our first wreck. I was expecting to see a wreck back on lap 1, especially when we saw them going 3 wide for the lead into turn 1. Let's see who was involved, and M McIntire was involved in this one. McIntire comes into this race 28th in points. Oh, and well, looks like the opportunity for a 3 in a row for 3 different Retro Racing Enterprises teammates is pretty much down the drain. Charles Sandfer, a lot of damage, as does J Gardner in the 14. J Jefferson's got some damage as well. Seth Cole, I see some damage on the 77. So we got quite a number of drivers that are damaged, and we'll have to see if they're going to be able to continue or not. Usually at dirt tracks, it's kind of like short tracks. You don't necessarily have to have the prettiest car for it to be fast. So we'll see if those drivers are going to be able to continue or not. For now, let's go back into replay and see what wreck they had to bring out our first caution of the day here at Springfield. Well, they may have been 3 wide up at the front for the lead, but it was even more exciting back in the middle of the pack because they tried 4 wide going into turn 1. That's Jack Mitchell diving low on M McIntire. And I think the contact's going to happen between those two. That's J Gardner and J Jefferson at 4 wide. Oh, I think Mitchell went down too low and hit the guardrail, and then it bounced him up into M McIntire and Charles Sandfer. And Mitchell, the one that caused the wreck, he gets away. Shelton and Seth Cole, they get into each other, and they slid up into the wreck as well. So Shelton, our winner from 2 weeks ago, got a piece of that. And Mitchell Collins got trapped up there on the outside line behind J Gardner and Jessica Shelton. And yeah, he's got some front-end damage as well on his machine. So there were about maybe 7, 8 drivers that got involved in this. And as I said, the one that triggered the wreck was able to drive away, Jack Mitchell. But tough break there for a couple of drivers that were really looking for good runs here today, and a couple of drivers that are struggling in the points as well. Seth Cole comes into this race 32nd in points, J Jefferson 37th. Neither one of them needed this early wreck. And then you've got drivers that are running up there inside the top 10 in points that got involved in this, and Charles Sandfer and Jessica Shelton. So we'll see if they're going to be able to continue or not, maybe bounce back from this early problem. Caution is out for the first time today. Let's go back for the green. Well, this caution came out too early for these drivers to be able to make it if they came to pit road on one more pit stop. So they all decided to stay out and keep their track position. I think the fuel window is something around 25 to 28 laps. So they'll be able to save a little bit here. So we might be not seeing green flag pit stops, if we see green flag pit stops, until somewhere around maybe lap 28 to 30. Benny Watson's going to be the leader when we go back green. Cole Baker lines up in 2nd, Wyatt Quail 3rd, Julius Anderson 4th, Diego Yepez in 5th. Then it's Adam Garcia, Benjamin Miles, Austin LaPlante, Dylan Poteet, and M Haas. That is your top 10. So 3 of the unknown motorsports cars restarting up inside of the top 10 here. Don't think anybody's out of the race, and everybody's still on the lead lap. So we will go back green with all 40 cars still running. Obviously, we're going to have to check about like J Jefferson, Charles Sandfer, J Gardner, see how extensive their damage was and if they'll still be up to speed. Oh, I guess Jefferson was trapped a lap down. So we do have 1 lap car. All right, that's my bad. I thought all 40 cars were still in the lead lap as we get ready to go back green here on lap number 8. Green flag back in the air. Let's see how much of an issue J Jefferson's going to be. Is he up to speed? Is he off the pace? He might be a little bit off the pace as Watson gets away. Baker now trying to get around J Jefferson. He'll succeed in doing so. Jefferson holding up his teammate down there, Julius Anderson. Anderson's going to lose 3rd to Wyatt Quail, and now they're going to go, 4 wide. They're back to 3 wide. Whoa! Anderson sliding through the corner almost up into J Jefferson. That was close. We nearly had 3 of the unknown motorsports cars wrecking each other. Up front, Cole Baker closes in onto the back bumper of the Hearst Toyota Camry of Benny Watson. Gets to the left rear quarter panel. Is he there off the back straightaway, though, is the question. Don't know if he is, but I think he's going to drive it in deep here into 3, and I think Benny Watson realized that. He moved up about a half groove before they entered into the corner, giving Baker lots of room in case he slid up. These two will drag race to the line. Which line's going to win out? Inside, outside. It's going to be Watson leading that lap just by a bit. Baker going to continue to try and get that inside line going, though. He gets a good run into the corner, but Watson seems to get a better run off. We got a little tight there off the corner, did Watson. Baker might have him cleared. Not quite. Watson battles back on the top side. Baker's trying to do the slide job. He's trying to drive it in deep and then slide up in front of Watson so Watson can't get that run off the corner. And I think he's got him cleared. He does. Cole Baker will go to the point. But not for long. Watson says, hey, anything you can do, I can do better. And he crosses over to the inside in turn one. As these drivers battle it out for the race lead, Julius Anderson clears for third, so now he's going to try and close in on the top two. Battle will be for fourth between Yepez and Quail. Dylan Poteet now enters into this mix. It's Levi McIntire in the 99. And the guy who triggered that first caution, Jack Mitchell, now up inside of the top 10 as well. Move back up towards the front here as Watson not able to get Cole Baker for the lead, so Baker out in front, Watson in second. Looked like Anderson was maybe going to be able to have a chance of reeling in the top two, but he got reeled in by his teammate Diego Yepez, dropped him back to fourth, now maybe back to fifth. Is Dylan Poteet going to go for the fourth position, and he will take the spot. Good battle here, though. These drivers are not teammates. Benny Watson running a single car operation, Otter Island Motorsports. However, he does get technical equipment from Backmarker Motorsports. So while they do have an alliance, they are not teammates. Meanwhile, as this battle's going on, I do want to check towards the rear of the field, because one thing that we sometimes have come into play at Springfield is slower traffic. And Watson's going to get the spot back from Baker. There is M McIntire. He's off the pace. He's just now exiting out of turn 4. The leaders are exiting out of turn 2, so there's still a whole half a racetrack before they catch him. Seth Cole, J Shelton, they were caught up in that wreck back on lap 3. They're back in 37th and 38th, somewhat off the pace. There's Trent Dunham. Don't see any really visible damage on that car, but it looks like he's a little bit off the pace. William Brock, maybe they're being held up by slower traffic. Johnny Gardner looks like his car is pretty good. He's making some passes here on Chris Dollerton, Vince Almariego. Same for Charles Sanford. Rear end all crunched in, and yet he's up right now in the 30th position trying to make a pass on James Shelley. I think we really only have one, possibly 3 cars that are off the pace. M McIntire is definitely off the pace, I think. J Shelton and Seth Cole, I think they're semi off the pace. I don't think they're completely off the pace, though. And this has been a lot of fun to watch these two guys go at it, Cole Baker and Benny Watson. You look at where they come into this race situated in points and based off of how they ran last week as well. Cole Baker, he lost 8 spots in the standings last week, dropped from 12th to 20th. Watson, on the other hand, gained 8 spots. He moved from 13th to 5th in points. So who wants it more is the question. And of course, as mentioned at the top of the program, this is one of the most difficult pit roads to get onto. If you mess up just enough, you can end up sustaining left side damage and have an extended stay on pit road. So while we're talking about these two right now, if both of them mess up their pit stops, you could end up talking about someone entirely different in the closing stages of this race with a potential of taking the checkered flag. The field has also gotten themselves rather spread out. We still got some good racing going on here through the field, especially back from 3rd place on back, but not really anything as crazy as what we saw earlier on at the start of this race. So I think we've kind of settled ourselves into a green flag run, which means these drivers have to start preparing themselves for green flag pit stops, which will probably, if my projections are correct, take place somewhere within the next 10 to 12 laps. Looking here at Levi McIntire. McIntire 21st in the points coming into this race. Good right now. Austin LaPlante right behind him. That's a driver that could use a good run. LaPlante is right now 18th in the point standings. He gained some spots after Bristol last week, but he hit a streak of races where the finishes were really bad. Atlanta, he did poorly. Phoenix, he didn't do that great. So definitely trying to bounce back. This is a driver that was up inside the top 10 in points about 4 weeks ago. Jack Mitchell drove it in deep for 4 wide into turn 1. That triggered the only caution we've had today, but it didn't affect his race car, and he's up here inside of the top 5. Mitchell comes into this race currently situated 38th in points, so that's a driver that really could use a good run here today. He's going to get Yepez for 4th, tries to get Poteet for 3rd. Looks like he might get it. Also up inside the top 10, Keith Batson in the 39. Batson had a really bad run last week at Bristol, dropped 8 spots in the standings. He's 34th in points coming into this race, so obviously a well-needed run for him. James Qualls just cracked the top 10, getting by Adam Garcia. Qualls comes into this race in 17th in points. Opportunity to move up into the top 10 in the stands. We're going to go 3 wide up here for 3rd place. Meanwhile, Cole Baker has been able to distance himself from Benny Watson. I don't know if Watson messed up a corner or if he's just hanging back, but Baker, his lap times have been much faster than Benny Watson last couple of laps. Baker just ran a 32.010 to Benny Watson's 3.32, 3/10 faster. McIntire exiting turn 4, Baker entering turn 3, so a couple of laps and he may encounter Matt McIntire traffic. Right now, Cole Baker definitely has his car set up for the long run, it would appear. And continues to gap himself back to Benny Watson. So as those two are spread out, we're going to watch this battle for 3rd, because this is where the best battling is going on, at least close up to the front of the field. Diego Yepez now to the inside of Jack Mitchell. Yepez last week gained 10 spots in the standings and moved into the top 10 for the first time this season. 9th in points coming into this race. Looking good right now as well, as he's currently sitting on the podium. Talk about the Toyotas up front. There's our first Dodge driver, Ryan Brommer, in the 13th position. And he's now battling with last week's winner, K Mathews. This is actually for 12th. Carter Friesen, nice to see him having a good run after his Daytona 500 victory to start out the season. 11th is where he's running right now. Carter Friesen, we already talked about the fact that J Millz comes into this race needing to get back into the top 30 in points. Well, Carter Friesen, he's 25th in the standings, so he's down near that cut line. So a good run for him today to get away from that cut line as he wants that Daytona 500 win to count towards a spot in this season's playoffs. I saw a car on pit road moments ago, and that was our points leader, Jordan Lopez. I don't know if that was scheduled or unscheduled is the question, though. Looks like it was a scheduled stop. He's back on track. Right now, he is scored in the 39th position. There's the aforementioned J Millz. Right now he's 30th, trying to get himself back into the top 30 in points, and I don't think a 38th place finish is going to cut it. And right behind him, the pole sitter, Benjamin Miles, back in 31st. So that car went away as far as the speed that it showed in qualifying. Shelton apparently is quite a bit off the pace as Cole Baker makes the pass on Matt McIntire, and he'll put him a lap down. So hold on, if Jordan Lopez is 39th and Matt McIntire is 38th, that means we have a car out of the race. And the caution's out! Caution is out, right nearing when we would have had the green flag pit stops. We're going to look and see who that car is out of the race. Oh no, nobody's out of the race. J Jefferson's a lap down in 40th. Oh, that's right, I had forgotten he was a lap car when we went back green. Okay, that was my bad. Caution is out, though, and this, I think, is going to be right within the window of these drivers being able to make it the rest of the way on fuel when they come to pit road this time. And they'll have the benefit of pitting under caution rather than under green as well. Now, we're going to stick here. We'll go back and look and see what brought out the caution in a moment. But we're going to stay here and watch these pit stops because we want to see if anybody is going to have an issue with these pit stalls, and we may end up seeing somebody come off pit road as the race leader other than Cole Baker. Let's watch him going into his stall, and you'll see what I'm talking about as far as the sliding and the grip factor. Pulls into his stall, slides in. Oh, nice pit stop. That was a nicely made pit stop. Same for Benny Watson. Oh no, Baker missed it. He overshot it. You just saw him have to teleport. He didn't hit the wall, but he overshot his pit stall. And Baker will not be coming out with the lead. You see some drivers hitting the pit wall there. J Quail and A Garcia. They have to teleport, so they're going to lose some spots as a result of that. They may end up falling off the lead lap. And Benny Watson's going to come out with the race lead. LaPlante will be second. You see, he's got left side damage. Poteet will come out third, Friesen fourth, and J Andersson with damage. Will be the top 5 when we go back green. I mentioned it before, these are some of the toughest pit stalls to get into due to it being dirt. There's no grip with dirt. And Cole Baker, looked like he had the strongest car. He's going to find himself in a bit of a pickle when we go back green. Speaking of which, let's find out what brought out this caution for the second time here today at the Springfield Mile. Problems for Trent Dunham bring out this second caution. Trent was running in the 26th position at the time. And I think something just broke. Well, he got a little help. He slowed up there in the corner. Jesse Turner got into the back of him, sends him around. And there's more damage there for Jesse Turner. Second in the points coming to this race, Jesse Turner, by the way. Trent spins it around, and then I think he gets a little bit more contact. Oh, right there, sideswiped by J Millz. Millz down into Butcher, and they saved it. So Trent Dunham getting spun around. Oh, I'm sorry, he was actually in 24th. And he kind of got punted, let's be honest. He got punted by Jesse Turner there going into turn 1. That was enough to bring out the caution for the second time here today. And sets us up good to go, I believe, on fuel the rest of the way in today's race. And we got a number of drivers that are now trapped a lap down after the incidents we were seeing happen on pit road. Jordan Lopez is a lap down, obviously having to pit under green flag conditions. M McIntire and J Jefferson a lap down as well. Jefferson was a lap down before we went green on the last caution. M McIntire got lapped on the last green flag run. So Benny Watson lines up the leader. Austin LaPlante second. D Poteet third. Carter Friesen fourth. And J Andersson in fifth. That's Diego Yepez, J Qualls, Michael Norman, R Acosta, and Trey Wright. That is your top 10. You can see 33 cars on the lead lap. Cars that are currently scored a lap down right now. M Haas, J Shelton, Lopez, Mathews, M McIntire, J Jefferson, Ryan Butcher. And there are probably going to be a couple of others once we cross the line. We'll see about that. We'll also try and find out where Cole Baker is restarting as the green flag is back in the air here at Springfield. Lopez up to speed, and he's going to get his lap back. Easily gets around Benny Watson. Watson stuck up on that outside line. It might be who's the first lead lap car to get down to the bottom, and as soon as I say that, Benny Watson, LaPlante, and Poteet, they get clear. Check down there and see if indeed it is just 33 cars. Nope, got a couple of other cars that are off the lead lap as well. J Quail is a lap down. Benjamin Miles is a lap down. There's 31 cars in the lead lap, including Jordan Lopez, who we saw just comes up in the lap. A Garcia is off the lead lap. I don't know if I called him or not, as LaPlante just took the lead. And we had a car, I think, just come off pit road. That's Benjamin Miles, the 25. Right now is scored in 40th as LaPlante, his teammate, has the race lead. And now here comes D Poteet looking for the spot. William Brock in the 88 on pit road. J Gardner is on pit road as well. You can only assume these drivers are coming to pit road to repair damage they may have sustained. They tried to keep themselves in the lead lap, but sometimes handling these tracks is more important than track position and taking a chance of wrecking yourself. Meanwhile, Carter Friesen making some moves. 3 wide into 3. This is for the second position, I believe. And he's going to get the spot. So Poteet out with the lead. Friesen now moves into second. Here comes Benny Watson, though. He wants that spot back. And Poteet trying to put Jordan Lopez a lap down again. Poteet 13th in points coming into this race. Trying to put the points leader back off of the lead lap. I want to try and find Cole Baker, who I believe is still on the lead lap. Yeah, he is, but he's back in 27th, and I think he might be the last car on the lead lap now. No, Trent Dunham would be the last car on the lead lap in 28th if Lopez gets lapped by Poteet again. That's a tough break there for Cole Baker, though. See, there's no damage on his car. He didn't hit the wall. He just overshot his pit stall, and it caused him to have to teleport back into his stall, and that cost him time on pit road. I think that a lot of drivers, like Cole Baker, though, can be very thankful it took place under caution rather than under green, or else he would have definitely been off the lead lap. Got some new faces that have popped up into the top 10. V Almariego in the 42, and Dylan Young in the number 2 car. They are right now in 9th and 10th. So great runs for both of them here late in the going. Ryan Acosta right there in 8th place. A lot of these drivers you see dealing with that left side damage. J Qualls making a pass. That is for 2nd place. How can J Qualls get clear of these guys and get up there and battle with Dylan Poteet? We're running the rules package here today, so the draft is definitely a thing, and so I think Qualls is kind of getting pulled back to these guys rather than being able to get up there and battle with the 31. Dylan Poteet loving it right now, although he is in a bit of a battle himself. Jordan Lopez is up to speed, and he's not going to go down without a fight. He wants to finish this race in the tail end of the lead lap. Right now he is in 29th place. Not where he wants to be running. However, his other competitors have all had some issues here today as well, with the exception of Benny Watson. Jesse Turner, we saw, had the contact with Trent Dunham in that last caution. Charles Sandfer, I believe, is off the lead lap. Either that or he's damaged. He was involved in the first wreck of the day. And Zach Rogers, 3rd in the points. Where is he currently at? There he is. Now he scored in 21st place. Still on the lead lap though. There's Sandfer. He is still on the lead lap in 26th. Poteet still fighting with Jordan Lopez. J Yepez now in 2nd. Can't tell if these guys are closing up the gap between themselves and Poteet or not. Certainly battling with Jordan Lopez has got to be hurting Dylan Poteet's lap times. They're still side by side. Now side by side for 2nd between Yepez and Qualls. Benny Watson there in 4th. Watson had a strong car early on, and then when we went into a long green flag run, he kind of tapered off to Cole Baker. So I wonder if they made an adjustment on that pit stop to help him on the long run or not. Or are we going to see him fade? Time's running out, too. These guys battling here for 2nd better figure out something soon and start focusing on running down Dylan Poteet, because it's going to be 10 laps to go this next time by. Yepez had to check up there in the corner. That might allow Qualls to break away a little bit. Maybe not. Yepez is going to be right there still on his back bumper. And I think Poteet decided, you know what, I'm just going to let the 38 go. That time by, he lost 2/10, though. J Qualls is closing, as is D Yepez. I think if Poteet can run single file behind the 38, I think the 38's fast enough that they'll be able to keep a pretty good gap between themselves in the battle for 2nd. When they start getting side by side, that's when Dylan Poteet starts losing ground. I think this time by he'll gain a little bit of time. Let's see. 1.83 seconds. This time at the line, gap back to 2nd is 2.2. There you go. He just gained back all that time, because he's not battling side by side with Jordan Lopez. So right now, the best battle on track coming to the finish might be for 2nd place, unless something happens to Dylan Poteet in the closing stages. J Qualls now back to the inside on D Yepez. Benny Watson got tight in the corner. You saw that car drift up and lost the nose. And Jordan Lopez had to hit pit road. Couldn't make it on fuel. Lopez is going to lose even more spots on the racetrack, and that means now it's smooth sailing out in front for Dylan Poteet. Trent Dunham and K Mathews going into turn 1. Dylan Poteet still on the back straightaway, so no threat of traffic. Oh, look at this, though. Qualls broke free. And there's a battle for third, so does Qualls have enough time to close up 2 seconds on Dylan Poteet and make it a battle for the win? If these guys stay side by side, that's going to allow Qualls to pull away. Still side by side, Qualls trying to gap them. He actually made up time on Poteet that last lap. Oh boy, this isn't over, and there's still time. There's still plenty of time. It's going to be 6 laps to go at the line this next time around. Caution is out. There's going to be a lot of time now. Yellow flag is out. We will get back green, and Dylan Poteet did not want to see that caution. This just threw it open for everybody. Everybody's going to be good to go on fuel, so pit road will not be a factor for these lead cars having to come to pit road and risking a chance of a glitch. And now, oh my goodness, how many laps are we going to have left to go is going to be the question. Oh, this is going to be a classic Springfield finish. Question is, who did the caution come out for? Oh, looks like it might have potentially come out for the 41 of J Quail. That caution came out just a little too late for J Lopez, who would have probably been back on the lead lap if he hadn't had to come to pit road just a few laps before the yellow flew. So as Dylan Poteet leads, we're going to find out how many laps we're going to have left to go. We will get back green flag racing here at Springfield to finish it out in amazing fashion, but for now let's go back and see what was the caution that sets us up for this pretty exciting, I hope, finish at Springfield Mile. Yep, it was J Quail. He was in 32nd at the time, off the lead lap. And I'm almost wondering if he had the same issue going into the corner that Trent Dunham had the last time when we had the caution come out, when he got run over by Jesse Turner, because Trent checked up big time. Oh, no, wow! He just completely overcorrected into the entry of the corner. Car drifted up, he couldn't hang on to it, and then up into the outside wall. There was no contact with any other driver, just flat out lost it. Well, I'm not trying to throw out any conspiracy theories here, but bear in mind the 41 is a teammate to the 11, and the 11 now is going to be on the back bumper of the 31 to try and win this race. And the 41 was a lap down with nothing to lose. Just throwing that out there. I'm not saying J Quail brought out a caution on purpose. I'm not saying that this is Spingate, but it's just kind of ironic that that was the car that brought out the caution with a teammate in line to possibly take this win. If James Qualls wins this race, there's going to be a lot of people probably saying some stuff about Spingate in the comments. But anyway, it is what it is, and we're setting up for a good finish, I hope, here today at Springfield. Alright, we haven't gotten the 1 to green signal yet. We do have a bubble, though. So my thinking is we will probably get the 1 to green this time by, which means it will be a green-white checkered to finish out this race. Dylan Poteet is the leader. 13th in the points coming into this race. James Qualls in 2nd, 17th in points coming into this race. Benny Watson 3rd, 5th coming into this race. Diego Yepez is 9th coming into this race. He's 4th. And Dylan Young comes into this race 22nd in points. He lines up in 5th. Lights are out. We will have a green-white checkered. Who wants it more? In terms of short-run speed, Benny Watson has been the class of the field, especially earlier on. It's Carter Friesen, Austin LaPlante, Ryan Acosta, Julius Anderson, and K Batson, your top 10. Anyone's got a shot here, especially with this rules package and the way the draft works. So it is not over until the checkered flag waves. Show you down there through the top 20. These drivers going to try and get up there in the top 10 in the closing stages, as we've got 28 cars on the lead lap. Trent Dunham, the last of those. And at this point, nobody out of the race. All 40 cars are still running. It's a single file restart, so no lap traffic will be on the inside line to hinder these leaders. They gotta make it back to the white flag before a caution comes out for the race to be official. Poteet is the control car. He's gonna have to get the restart of his life. Here we go. Green-white checkered at Springfield. I can feel my adrenaline pumping because we're getting ready for a good run here to the finish. Green flag is back in the air. Here we go. And Qualls was ready. So was Watson. We got to go 3 wide into turn 1, boys. No, we're not. Watson thought better of it. Checked it up. Here comes Qualls right on the back bumper of Poteet. Watson's got to the inside of Qualls. Is he going to have enough momentum to make a move for second and third, or will Qualls have him cleared in the corner? Poteet's going to get away. They're battling for second. Oh, Poteet's not out of the woods yet, though. They're still side by side for second. Watson and Qualls. White flag in the air. 1 more lap to go here at Springfield. Here comes Watson, trying to clear James Qualls. If he can get by Qualls on the back straightaway, he might have a shot at Poteet into 3 and 4. He's not clear on him yet. Now I think he is. Will he be able to drive it in deep on Poteet into turn 3? Dylan Poteet trying to make 2 more clean corners. He didn't want to see the caution, but he rose to the occasion. He's going to hold him off on the green-white checkered. Out of turn 4, Dylan Poteet's going to win the Harley-Davidson 400 at Springfield. Benny Watson will get second from James Qualls, but Dylan Poteet will get Michael Norman Motorsports their first win of the season. And Poteet may have just locked himself up a spot in this season's Duracell Cup Series playoffs. What a finish. Poteet had everything work out right for him there, with the battle being mostly for second. That didn't allow either Qualls or Watson to get a run on him on those final 2 laps. And he just drove his race, hit his corners, hit his marks, and let all the mayhem take place behind him. So Dylan Poteet will get his first win of the season. Watson brings it home in 3rd, James Qualls in 4th, Dylan Young finishes in 5th, with Diego Yepez completing the top 5. And then it was Ryan Acosta, Carter Friesen, Austin LaPlante, Julius Anderson, and Keith Batson, the completion of your top 10. Levi McIntire was 11th, Jose Millz in 12th. Remember, he came into this race 7 points behind 30th in standings cut line, so maybe, just maybe, our Manassas winner has worked his way back up into the top 30 in points. And we might have a new points leader as well. Jesse Turner came into this race 12 points back from Jordan Lopez. He finishes 13th here today. So we'll see where he finishes in relation to Lopez in just a moment. Ryan Brommer was 14th, Matthew Rodriguez 15th. And the rest of your top 20 were Vince Almariego, Zach Rogers, Seth Cole, Jack Mitchell, and Carson Gum. 28 cars finished this race on the lead lap. Trent Dunham was the last of those, and everybody finished this race. Most everybody that finished off the lead lap, it was due to pit road issues. A couple of drivers had to pit under green flag conditions. And Lopez is officially going to finish this race in 33rd position. So with him finishing 33rd and Turner finishing in 13th, that's 20 positions difference, which means Jesse Turner is going to take over the points lead heading into next week's race. But Dylan Poteet becomes the 3rd straight Chevrolet driver to go to victory lane, and the first driver, as mentioned, out of the Michael Norman Motorsports camp. He becomes our 7th different winner in as many races, and sets us up for, really, I think, what's going to be a very hotly contested battle for those 16 playoff spots now, because I think we're just going to keep getting more different winners. But Poteet at least has a 1 in the win column now. Hope you guys enjoyed today's race here from Springfield. This was a great race. Really enjoy these dirt track races. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give us a like, subscribe, become part of the crew today. We have shown you full opinion results, and these are your overall point standings heading next week. 2 weeks ago, we were at our first short track stop of the season. This week, or actually last week, we were at our first short track stop of the season. This week, we were at our first dirt track stop of the season. Next week, we're going road course racing for the first time this season, as we're going to the West Coast in Napa Valley to go racing at Sonoma. You won't want to miss out on that one. That's going to be a fuel strategy race for sure. But I will see you guys next time, as you've been watching a production of the NCRA Offline Racing at its best. We'll see you guys at Sonoma.